Hi everyone, Kim here. Thanks for joining us at mHUB Inside. Today we're going to show you how to make these two-tone keychains. It's two-tone wood wrapping a cut piece of metal, and we made these as part of a welcome gift to 9 startup teams that are coming from across the country and the UK to Chicago to participate in the mHUB Accelerator program. If you're interested in that program, you can go to mHUBaccelerator.com. Over the course of the program, $15 million of capital is going to be invested into hard tech startups. You get access to over $6 million of equipment and resources for prototyping and building physical products. You can go to mHUBaccelerator.com. We'll put a link in the description. But today, we're going to join Quinn in the shop so he can show us how he made these inspired by the spark of the mHUB logo. So let's join him there now.
Welcome to the mHUB shop. Today we're going to be talking about making some laser cut keychains. It is layered wood, stainless steel, and wood. We will walk you through the process of laser cutting the wood, laser cutting the metal, and then using a custom laser cut jig to assemble the whole situation in a nice repeatable fashion. Let's walk through that process. First step in the process is we're going to lay out some adhesive tape between each layer. We found this to work a lot better than epoxy. Epoxy was a little bit messier and it was a lot harder to use the jig. So let's lay this out. So what I'm using now is a roller to make sure that the adhesive layer is evenly applied and pressed into the material so it's not going to want to release. We now have 3 bits of material with adhesion on the back that I can trim off a little bit. All right, now that this is ready to go, let's take this over to laser cut, it's CO2 laser cutter, and get the wood cut out. To design all of our layouts for this, we use Fusion 360, which you can see here on the screen. We modeled every single layer, so we have nice DXFs for every single part of this file. We also use this to create the jig file that we also previously laser cut when we were testing this design, which you can see here. It's stacked acrylic with stainless steel pins to help keep everything lined up. So the first thing that we need to do is make sure that our Z position is at the correct height. So we're going to autofocus to the top of our material. It's going to do its thing. Next, we will need to make sure that our file is inside the border of our part. So here we go. Doing a perimeter. As long as the red stays on the wood the whole time, we are all good, and we are. So now I can set my material feeds and speeds for this, and we'll cut our first one. Check it out. These look really good, so let me pull these out of here. And then we are going to cut this last one and jump over to the fiber laser. Hit go on this one. And I will see you at the fiber laser for cutting some stainless steel. So our fiber laser has been set up. What we need to do now is set up the parameters for our cuts. We'll be cutting 1.5 millimeter stainless steel. So we need to look up the library in the machine for that particular thickness of material and type of material and see what nozzle we need and where we need to focus to. So under our library, once I load the 1.5 millimeter stainless, we can see that we need either a 1.5 or 2 millimeter nozzle with a 0 focus height. So I'm going to do that now. So now we need to set up our cut like we did for the CO2 laser. We're going to make sure that our cutting area is within the material. So I'm going to frame this out. All of our cutting is going to be within that boundary, so that is good to go. So if we want to close this door and hit start, we can do that. So now we're going to use a rotary tool just to take off a little bit of the sharp burr that's left from the laser cutting process. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, that is the last one cleaned up. So let's meet back at the assembly table. We're going to put this all together. And now we get to everyone's favorite part of the process. We're going to assemble it. So the way this works is there is a bottom layer of the logo, some of the stainless steel on top of that, and then the two halves of our logo all sandwiched together where it will look like this and stay together. One of the things I built to help in this assembly, make sure everything lines up so all the corners are square, is this lovely laser cut acrylic jig. It's just held together with 2 1/4-inch pins. It's a couple pieces of acrylic, and it just helps with the whole process immensely. We want to make sure that our metal is nice and clean before we start so that the adhesion will, or the tape will adhere really nicely to the metal. So we're just going to give them a little bit of an alcohol rinse just to make sure that they are free and clear of any grease or dirt, anything like that. So the process is to remove the tape from the base layer, like so. Tape backing, I should say. Drop it into the jig. Drop our stainless steel into place. Give it a nice press so that it adheres. And then do the same thing for the little guy. I'm going to drop into the corner. And so, continue on with the other part of our spark. Drop that into place. And now that everything's been pressed into the corners, just give it a last little bit. Pop it out of the bottom, and we have a nice, even, aligned spark logo for our keychains. So once I do a couple of these, we're going to throw this in the tumbler. What that's going to do is it's going to roll over our edges a little bit so that it's not as sharp, and you have less likely for these edges to splinter depending on which way the grain is going. So let's do that. All right, looks like it's been about 2 hours. Pull them out and see how they look. So all of our edges have been softened. That is exactly what we were hoping for. So now all that's left to do is to give them a nice little sand to clean them up all the dirt and debris that's from the tumbling process. So let's do that really quickly. So now we have some beautiful keychains to give to our new Accelerated Incubator cohort that will be here next week. I'm pretty certain they're gonna love them. But these are finished, so that is the end of this project. Please like, subscribe, and comment below with anything you might like to see. See you guys next time.